Welcome to episode 18. It's hard to believe, but yes, we are in the teen phase of New Voice Live. We're out of the awkward phase. It was very awkward for a while, but now we're trying to develop who we really are. And so this is the evolution of New Voice Live, which is really a show that becomes not just me, Kaylee, and Sean, but a show of all of us. And that's really the secret of Toastmasters, is I've said it 1,000 times, that what we really do is we provide an audience for folks to get better at public speaking. But the real magic of Toastmasters is that the audience then turns into the entertainment. So we're in a stage now where we know what the show is. We know where we're headed. We know what our goal is. And so the ultimate goal for us, the hurdle we're trying to surpass, is to be entertaining. And that's a really high bar to handle, particularly when we are on Zoom, in the Zoom world, because our standard for entertainment, our attention span on Zoom is so minute that we'll tune out immediately if things get boring. So for us, as people who are trying to hone a craft, get better at a skill, whatever you want to say, our hurdle now, our measure becomes how entertaining can we be. So that's the goal I'm setting up for all of us as we go on now into the teen years and adulthood is let's focus on making sure that we look visually well. The things that we say are interesting to folks so that we are entertaining and they want to come back. And if they come back, we know we've won. We know that we are succeeding. So that's my my inspiration, plea, urge for all of us is now that we're here, we've got a goal in mind to make it entertaining and to entertain others. So with that said, it's no better way to turn over to our speakers for the evening. We've got Colleen giving her second speech and Devika who's giving her icebreaker. So I look forward to a lot of entertainment tonight. With that said, let me get Colleen here as our speaker for the evening, for our first speaker. Colleen, are you there? Let's get her on screen.
Hey, Emilie. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Welcome, Colleen.
Thank you.
So you're a relatively new member, although you have given your icebreaker, and we heard a lot of great things about your life. This is Organize Your Speech, number 2. How are you feeling?
I feel good. I'm excited.
Good. Well, now that we're in this place, again, of trying to practice to put on a good show, I thought I would spend some time trying to get into the curriculum a bit as to why we have 10 speeches and what each speech means along the way. The first speech, icebreaker, is real easy. That's basically, who are you? So there's no right or wrong way to give a speech for your icebreaker. It's one of the reasons why I love the icebreakers. It's my favorite. But once you've given your icebreaker, you now get to a place where people know you and they have expectations for you. And so as a speaker, it changes the dynamic a bit. You ever been on a road trip? I assume that you've been on a road trip maybe when you were a kid, and the stereotypical response from a kid is, "Are we there yet?" Right? And you're driving along, and the kid goes, "Are we there yet?" "No, we're not there yet. Are we there yet?" That, in a nutshell, is us as the audience after the icebreaker. When we hear you speak for the first time, we don't know where this journey is going to take us, so we as an audience just like, look, we're along for the ride. Wherever you go, we're going to follow along. But after you've gone through your icebreaker, we now have expectations so that we as an audience are always in our head saying, are we there yet? What's she trying to say? Where is she taking us? Where is she going? And so that's really the next hurdle for us, and why I talk about entertainment being the bar, is that now that we're listening to you, we know you, we're expecting things from you, and the minute we don't get what we expect, we start to tune out. We become the child in the car going, are we there yet? When are we going to get there? What's the payoff? Why are we doing this? And so organize your speech. Speech number 2 is meant to tackle that very problem. Because what you are now doing as the driver of the car, metaphorically, is you're telling us all as passengers, here's where we're going. We're going to go to the gas station first, and then we're going to go to the store after that, and then we're going to come back home, so that we as an audience and passengers, okay, I'm following every way along with you. And so that's why organizer speech is the second most important speech right after the icebreaker, is that it's now telling us as speakers, our goal has to be from here on out making sure the audience can follow along with and never gets left behind. And when they get left behind, that's when they get bored. And that is the death knell of any speaker. When Kaylee says, oh my God, my heart sinks when people turn off the camera, what does that feel like? It feels like I'm boring them. That's why the fear of speaking is the fear of speaking. The ultimate terror is, oh my God, I'm uninteresting. This is boring. So how do we overcome that? First step is icebreaker, overcome it, which you did. Second step is organize. Tell us where you're going. Tell us where you're along the way, so that by the end of the trip you go, oh, I follow along every step. Does that make sense? Okay, so with that being said, I know I gave you an awful lot. It's kind of because we're just now getting into the kind of the teaching part of the curriculum here, I had to kind of give it to you all at once. But this is for everyone that comes on afterwards as well, giving your organizer speech. That's the purpose of it, is that fundamentally we're trying to make sure that our audience doesn't get lost along the way.
Yeah.
Okay? But having said that, like I said, I know it's a lot, so clear your mind, go back to the speech you had in your head. It's going to be perfect. We're going to follow along just fine. So let me turn it over to you with that. Your speech is called The Power of Habit. You've got 4 minutes on the clock, so take it away.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Henry. So today I'm going to speak about the power of habit. I'm going to start off with a quote and pose a question. So the quote is by Zig Ziglar, who says that repetition is the mother of learning, the father of action, and the architect of accomplishment. So to that end, can I change do I have the capacity to change something about myself that I don't like to continue to improve and grow as a person? To that, I say that I believe we have the ability to change just about anything we set our minds to through the power of habit. So in his book, The Power of Habit by Charles Duhigg, he stipulates that a habit is essentially part of a loop or a formula in our brains that are comprised of three parts: a cue, a routine, and a reward. So for example, somebody who has the habit of running every morning is cued by their workout clothes sitting at the end of their bed, conducting the routine of going on that 3-mile run every morning, and then reaping the reward of that sense of accomplishment from the run, as well as the longer-term health benefits. So when you establish a habit, the brain essentially stops actively participating because it's automatically conducting this habit through muscle memory. However, in order to change a habit or to create a new habit, your brain needs to crave that reward at the end of the routine. So for example, a couple years ago, I wanted to change my habit of drinking coffee every morning with milk and sugar. I wanted to decrease the amount of sugar intake that I had in my everyday life. So in order to do that, I needed to unwind what that formula or loop of my habit was. So my cue was waking up in the morning. My routine was making coffee with milk and sugar. And then my end reward was that the fulfillment of drinking the warm beverage, and then the added energy from the caffeine, of course, from the coffee. In order to change that habit, I simply swapped out my routine of making coffee with milk and sugar, and instead wanted to replace that routine with making black coffee, for example. Through the power of repetition, I now crave that same in reward of the warm beverage every morning and that added energy boost. But I've through the power of routine, I've now changed that habit. Charles Duhigg also stipulates that you can increase your odds of success by committing to change as part of a group. So, to that end, I'm very excited about overcoming my fear of public speaking by, on a weekly basis, cueing myself through our weekly New Voice Live meetings, routinely practicing the routine of preparing for speaking and speaking in front of others, to one day crave that reward of being able to communicate effectively, and to increase my odds of success by committing to change as part of this New Voice Live group.
Wow, that was great, Colleen. And I think that we're going to ask you permission to use that as a testimonial for us when you finally get to that place where you have committed and turn that into a habit, into something that's real. And I loved it. It was fantastic. And I particularly agree with the fact that, you know, making change happens in a group. And so being committed to this every week, that's why I'm here as well. I truly, absolutely believe in the power of all of us staying committed to it. So great job. With that being said, let me turn it over to our audience for their feedback. For those of you who are members, well, for those of you who know, Sean, you've got our evaluation form for us to fill out, and then Colleen, you've got a self-evaluation form to fill out for yourself. And we'll put 2 minutes on the clock. So, Sean, if you put the chat in, we'll put 2 minutes on the clock, and we'll come back after that. Okay, so let's get into the formal evaluation period. Let me get Rajiv on the screen, who is our evaluator for Colleen's speech. Rajiv, how you doing?
Doing well, doing well. Thank you for having me on the show again. This is the best show on Friday nights. Thanks.
we, well, I will tell you what. We're the of all the Toastmasters out there, I think we probably are the best show on Friday night. So I'm always glad to have you here as part of the show. And I think that Colleen's in for a treat as an evaluator. You're an old hand, a pro at this, so I'll get Colleen on the screen for you, and then we'll let you take it away. Okay, Rajiv, you've got 3 minutes for your evaluation. Take it away.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you. I think Colleen did a fantastic job of the speech. Already, I think Colleen is making tremendous strides of progress. I'm seeing a lot of confidence. I'm seeing a certain sense of comfort and almost like uh, be, it almost seems like Colleen's done this 1,000 times before, and she was so confident, and the speech just flowed so well. I couldn't catch too many stutters or stumbles or anything like that that would suggest that Colleen was nervous or had butterflies in her belly or anything like that. There were a number of things that Colleen did really well. She, the selection of the topic, I thought was clever. The analogies and metaphors selected were also very simple to understand. The description that she used was also very vivid, very lucid, so that everyone could very easily understand what Colleen was trying to communicate and convey as far as the beginning, the middle, the end, the conclusion, the progress, as well as some key takeaways. I also like the fact that Colleen also used this speech as an opportunity to talk about speaking, public speaking, as well as Toastmasters, which I think engaged the audience even further. So kudos to you, Colleen, for all of those smart decisions. As far as a few areas of improvement or tips, you did say that I'd like to ask you a question. I would suggest that you actually do ask the audience a question the next time with the intent of allowing them to give you a response. What happens when you do that is they get really tuned in into what you're saying because you're engaging them, you're giving them the chance to participate in what you're speaking, and that makes them part of your story, which further enriches their experience as well as makes them feel like you're really speaking to them. But overall, I think you did a fantastic job. Again, hats off to you. You're making so much progress. We're so proud of you. And I'm eager to see you on your next speech. Well done.
Yeah.
Great job, Rajiv, on that. And yes, I agree 100%. You know, this is a place where you'll find yourself making substantial strides and progress really, really quick. So I'm glad to see, Colleen, that you're telling us that you have a fear of public speaking, but it really doesn't show on camera. And that's really the whole point, is that this fear often is something that we build up in our head, which means much more than it really is. That's why it's so difficult to look in the mirror and see nothing but flaws. But in reality, that's not what most of us see. And so it really is just the idea of getting up on stage and starting to embrace it. So great job. Welcome aboard, and look forward to your third speech. But also, that's also a reminder for me as we continue to try to figure out what works here on New Voice Live. We're asking folks to go to 4 speeches. Got to get the right numbers up. And then hold off there, and then get into the different roles for our club. And that way we can keep everybody kind of in pace. And also we're thinking about maybe changing the curriculum a little bit here or there to also deal with the fact that we're live versus in person. So just an FYI for folks. And one final reminder, 3 to 4 minutes so that we don't get in the trap again where people think that it's longer than it actually is. So 3 to 4 minutes for all the speeches. Okay? So great job, Rajiv. Great job, Colleen. We'll move on to our next speaker. That is going to be Devika. Let me get Devika on the screen here real quick. Devika, can you hear me? Can you hear me, Devika? I think you
Yes,
may be
I
on
can,
mute.
Henry.
Welcome, Devika. We have you for an icebreaker tonight. As I said, we were into kind of the curriculum phase of our New Voice Live Club. So with the icebreaker, let me just remind everyone what that is for. Again, it is the idea that says there's nothing wrong with anything that happens in an icebreaker. We have no expectations. You're here to tell us who you are, and we're here as an audience just to soak that in. So there's no right or wrong. But after that, we consider you a friend. So welcome to the New Voice Live. Where up until now we're strangers, but after this, we look forward to being lifelong friends. So with that said, you've got 4 minutes on the clock. We'll give it. Let me get you on the right screen here. There we go. Take it away.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Henry. Today, I feel like I've moved from the weekend bench to the dog as I am here in front of you all. And yet, I'm not the one to be sentenced today, as I know that this is my first speech, and hence, it will be appreciated, it will be admired, and it will be applauded, even if I mess it up like never before. Some would say that this is the disadvantage of letting a person attend the initial few meetings as a guest. But if you ask me, it is just a friendly reminder and hopefully a win-win for all. I first heard of Toastmasters when I was working in IBM a few years back. I would see club posters all over the office floor, actually just in the two pantries that we had, but that was enough for me to sit up and take notice. Finally, after endless rounds of doing absolutely nothing, I happened to meet a manager, also a Toastmaster, and in an effort to fill in the gaps in our already silent conversation with some tete a tete, I mentioned my interest in the club, and as luck of Gab would have it, I took the plunge. Good evening once again, fellow Toastmasters and guests. I'm Devika Swaroop, and I'm here to present my first project in the esteemed New Voice Toastmasters Club. I have racked my brain and heart as to what I ought to say today. I've asked myself over and over again as to what important lessons I've learned in the last 30 years, or rather the first 30 years of my life. Let me begin conventionally. I studied in 4 different schools, different cities, different states, same country, India. And no, that was not because my parents were in the armed forces, though they might befuddle anyone and everyone with their wit, charm, and disciplined personalities, none of which, if you know me, has managed to trickle down. J.K. Rowling has famously said, and I've quoted this before, that there is an expiry date for blaming your parents for steering you in a particular direction. I, for one, totally blame my parents for infusing in me a strong desire to achieve something in life with purpose, passion, and perseverance. And hence, you get the 3 P's of success. Having a distinct lack of motivation at college and a distinct knack for passing exams, I tried imbibing these 3 P's of success in all the areas, except, you guessed it, at regular lectures. I spent far too much time at managing and organizing events, representing my college at various competitions, and driving in and around the city in my humble Maruti 800 loaded with my gang of girls. Poor car used to rattle at a speed of mere 80. I developed a love for reading quite early on, and needless to say, some of those printed pearls have left an indelible impression on my mind. I learned about the extraordinary ordinariness of human emotions through R.K. Narayan. Alistair MacLean taught me to be strong and courageous in the world where eagles dare. And P.G. Wodehouse showed me how to laugh at my own self. Some of my earliest memories are those of going for early morning walks, riding horses, and climbing mountains in and around our city together as a family. Today, my husband and I share this common interest, and we both like traveling the world and witnessing the life through glorious mountaintops and valleys of despair with equal passion, purpose, and perseverance. I feel fortunate that these 3 P's of success have led me to become a fiercely independent, career minded woman and my undying love for reading and outdoors has given me the ability to stay happy in these trying and challenging times. So there you are. I tried keeping my speech brief, as it is said that most speakers don't need an introduction. What they do need is a conclusion. Hope you all had a great nap. Thank you.
That was fantastic. I love that. Such a good icebreaker. Welcome to the club. I want to say that first and foremost. You are going to be a star of ours, I think. So congratulations on your icebreaker. Let's let the audience give you their feedback as well. So Sean, would you mind putting that link in the chat?
Thanks,
And
Henry.
as always, a couple minutes for you guys to fill out that form. And we'll put a couple minutes on the clock.
Greetings, Henry.
Henry, I don't think we're hearing you.
Oh, well, I thought it was me.
There we go.
Oh, right on. Henry.
Sorry about that, folks. So welcome, Alex, to our formal evaluation. You were an old hand at this as well. So,
yes, I am old, but that's all right.
I will let you take it away for Devika's evaluation. You got 3 minutes on the clock.
Thank you so much, Henry. Well, Devika, I've got to say that that's probably one of the most impressive icebreaker speeches I've heard. And it's obvious to me that you're possibly an old hand at this. You might have done this before. I loved all of the elements of your icebreaker speech. And at the end, I hope also to give perhaps some points to improve. First of all, your clarity. You speak so perspicuously, so clearly. It's amazing. Your vocal variety as well. Everyone can take a lesson from this, I think. All of us here. We can certainly use this as a masterclass in speaking, because Devika spoke clearly, passionately, wonderfully well. Gestures, you didn't use so many, but that's all right, because in Zoom land, we're sort of, boxed in here. And the box can sometimes make us feel and look a little bit crunched. So if we use too many gestures, that's not so good. So you were great. Your comfort level was off the charts, and your interest. Everyone here was interested. You were following every word. So, what are some ways to improve? There are very few ways to improve, but there are perhaps some that you yourself are more aware of that when you review, you'll look at it. I am actually at a bit of a loss because everything that you spoke and everything that you said, um, the alliteration, the three P's, everything was there to come together to make a great speech. What I hope to do is perhaps I can fill out an evaluation form later and perhaps get some more time to think a little bit more clearly and with a little bit more power and purpose and perseverance. And so I want to thank you so much. And I want to send it back over to Henry. Thank you.
Thank you, Alex. And thank you, Devika. Yeah, great job on both the speech and the evaluation there.
Thank you, Alex.
Looking forward to having more speeches to come. So with that said, let me get us back to our agenda for the evening. And we have Emilie coming up for our table topics. Let me get Emilie ready to go there. And I haven't checked our table topics sign-up sheet, so I'm not sure if we have a full lineup yet or not. Looks like we have pretty much, there's a slot open for speaker number 4, if anybody wants to take that. But with that being said, let me get Emilie on the screen with us to take over for our table topics. Emilie, are you there?
Hello. Yes. Hi, everyone.
Welcome, Emilie. I'll let you take over for table topics.
Right. So before starting, I just want to explain. My name is Emilie Valencia, and I will be in charge of the tables topic today. So the purpose of the table topic section is to help members think on their feet and speak on a given subject for between 1 and 2 minutes. So for today, I have prepared a new format, which I hope you will like. So we will be using a wheel of fortune for the questions. I will be sharing my screen, and there are many questions. I don't know which one you will have. If you do not feel comfortable answering the question from the wheel of fortune, you can choose to answer the question, when was the last time you tried something new? Are you ready? The first one is Rajiv. How are you, Rajiv?
Yeah, doing well, doing well.
Are you ready? Let me share my screen. Great, let's do this. And the first question is, which activities make you lose track of time? Very good question. Rajiv, which activities make you lose track of the time?
Yeah, this is a great question. I think it's fairly easily answered. YouTube. YouTube is one of those rabbit holes that you go in looking for something, but YouTube's algorithm is so cunning and crafty. It almost predicts what you're thinking even before you actually type it into the search bar. And it presents an array, a plethora of awesome content for you to consume to the extent that you're like, wait, I want that. No, wait a minute, that tech review looks so good. Wait, that trailer looks amazing. Uh, the latest video from Mojo just dropped, or this is so and so's new music video. There's just so much out there. And the moment you try something, it will present something else based on your viewing history, your browsing history, your taste, habits, preferences, as well as its predictive algorithm that predicts, I think, with great accuracy what you will most definitely want to consume. That's one thing that always leads to me spending way more time on YouTube than I ever thought. So much so to the extent that even if I go to YouTube with a very defined purpose in mind, I will always see myself getting swayed and sidetracked by this vast array, this banquet of content that looks, oh, so inviting and so alluring that it is so hard to not fall prey to it. Almost like they're like the sirens of the sea. You hear their song and you just feel pulled in. That's that is what really pulls me into activities and what sees me spending a lot of time being spent online. Hope that answer entertains someone today.
Thank you, Rajiv. And yes, I think that you too can read my mind, because the other day I was speaking about the imposter syndrome, and for some reason it appeared on the screen and I did not go did a Google search. So now I'm thinking that perhaps they can hear my voice or something. So I'm gonna do a test with my husband. We selected a topic. We are gonna speak. We are not gonna do any Google search. And if it appears, something is happening. They can hear us.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Thank you for the question.
Next one. Wow, we have Rob. Hi, Rob.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
For the wheel?
I love your wheel. I am so excited.
Let's see what the wheel wants.
Okay, I'm going to pretend spin it.
And the question for Rob is, what's the most sensible thing you've ever heard someone say? Let me say it again. What's the most sensible thing you've ever heard someone say? It's a difficult question.
You know, I think that is such a great question. And I have to say, my brain just turns off when I hear sensible things. There's just this moment where you're like, that sounds very logical and the right thing to do. Now, what's the exact opposite, the unsensible version of that? And there's something so much more exciting in that. I myself am a very sensible person, and I think I have this, maybe it's because I'm the oldest sibling out of my brothers, and always tried to be sensible and get straight A's in school and do the right thing. But I knew that when I did the unsensible thing, the most opportunities would come out of that, and the most fun would always happen. So while I'm naturally very sensible, I always love being around those people that are a little unsensible and push you out of your comfort zone and into a place of trying new things, going out to this extra thing that it's a little late, I probably shouldn't do that. Okay, let's just do it. And I think it takes that unsensible person to help push you there. And I'm trying to find a way to use tete-a-tete in this conversation in some way. And I think there's you find those people that help push you out of your comfort zone that you could really have those conversations with and allow you to do those unsensible things. So thank you. That was a very opposite answer to your question, but it was fun to think about nonetheless.
And yes, I think that all of us here want to go out of our comfort zone. So thank you for sharing.
Yeah, we've been too sensible for the last 6 months, I think.
Yeah. Great, thank you.
Thank you.
And now it's Angelin's turn, our guest. Hi. I think you're on mute.
It's 7 o'clock.
Great. Let's see what the wheel says. And the question is, what gets you excited about life? The question is, what gets you excited about life?
Wow, Valencia, what a question. Wow, wow. Well, I think having this tete-a-tete is very exciting. That gets me excited in life. Woohoo! And having this opportunity to be able to try something new. Like Rob said, getting out of your comfort zone. This is really something of an experience for me to be on this table topics and Toastmasters show. I'm really loving it, and I would have to say that life really gets me excited. Just this whole experience, even having to be, let's say, not going outdoors. You know how many opportunities that brings? But for this type of opportunity, would I be able to join you today? And it's been so exciting to be able to branch out and actually travel the world without even going outside. I think it's just something wonderful to be able to enjoy life. It's that love, that passion that you have inside that you can really bring out. That's really important, I think, is the key to such a type of excitement one can really bring to anything and to anyone, especially oneself. So yeah, life is the excitement, and being here is really a blast. Thank you.
Thank you. And you're right. Life is exciting. And well, you say that you are traveling thanks to Zoom. So I think it's great. Thank you.
Thanks, Valencia.
Our next member is Devika. Hi, Devika.
Hi. Yeah.
Great. Let's see what the wheels wants. And the question is, what is the difference between living and existing? What is the difference between living and existing? That's a good question.
I guess I'll go back to my speech, my icebreaker speech, and I think get an answer from there. Not because it's easy, but because it's relatable. I feel that the 3 Ps that I mentioned, would be actually the difference between living and existing, because everybody lives and survives in this world, but if you don't have purpose, if you don't have passion, if you don't have perseverance, um, it's hardly living, so to say. So I guess existing with all these 3 Ps, with a lot of passion, having something to do in life, with a lot of hard work, dedication, motivation, definitely makes your life interesting. And as Angelin also mentioned, you're always excited about life. I'm also enthusiastic by nature. I like to do new things. I like to take on new adventures. And of course, my interests of reading and outdoors, I think sort of tell that about me. So I guess I would say that the difference between living and existing is this, that if somebody is living life which is bereft of any purpose, I guess that's living. And existing, as I said, would be something, a life which is full of adventures, and excitement would be existing. Having said that, I also believe that uh, just living is also fine, because that means that you are totally in control. You're comfortable. You are very content, which is also very important in life. um, you know People are always running behind um, purpose, I guess. But in some cases, the purpose of life is to have a good life, a successful life, a life which has basic needs and basic expectations. So I guess that would be my difference between living and existing.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing.
Sure.
And next we have Linda.
Yes.
Hi, Linda.
Hey, how are you?
Good. Are you ready?
I don't know.
Okay. And the question is, what are you the most grateful for? I will repeat again. What are you most grateful for?
I'm for that question. The reason why is because I think I am grateful for a lot of things. The first being that I have a passion in my life. I enjoy what I do. I'm even trying to make a business out of it. So I'm grateful for that. During a tete-a-tete with my friend, I had a conversation with her about being grateful. She mentioned to me that she was grateful for our friendship. And I was taken aback because no one ever said I'm grateful for your friendship. It's like an unspoken word that we're grateful. And so I started thinking about all of the friendships that I had, and that I am not only grateful, but I'm blessed to have many different people in my life, because they bring a lot of value to me. They give me different perspectives that if I didn't have them in my life, I would not be able to have a wide view of the world. I would be, as some people say, short-sighted. I'm also grateful for um, living to be the age that I am. Um, I know they say don't tell your age as a woman, so I guess I won't tell my age. But I'm definitely old enough to go to a bar and drink. so I'm grateful for that, because there are many people who have not. We have to thank God for our lives, and what he or she, whoever your higher being is, how grateful for how they helped you with your life in your life. Um,
Thank you. Great that you are grateful for many things. And what is great, I love this question also because studies have revealed that gratitude brings a lot of benefits. So we have to be grateful and we have to say it. And I'm from Mexico, and I don't know if my culture, but we normally say to our friends all the time, thank you for being my friend. Thank you. We are very grateful. So I learned something new today. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm on the phone. I'll call you back.
Now we have Colleen. Hi, Colleen.
Hey, Emily.
How are you?
Good.
Let's see. And the question is, if you had to teach something, what would you teach? Let me repeat it again. If you had to teach something, what would you teach?
Let's see. All right. So, if I had to teach something, what would I teach? I think what immediately springs to mind is actually one of a prior question, or one of the questions that we had prior around a perspective. I think it was share a perspective or something like that that you're happy that you were instilled with, or something like that. So what immediately comes to mind is a perspective that my dad taught me at a younger age, which was, whenever you are in a situation where maybe you're going up against somebody, or you're in an argument, or you have an altercation with somebody that you're seeing at odds, or whatever it might be, to kill them with kindness. And so that was something that was instilled with me pretty early on, and I think that that's something that I would teach somebody else. It's worked so well for me over the years, to always just take a step back. I think my dad probably taught it to me when I was really young, probably in middle school, when you're dealing with middle school girls, which are the absolute worst, or maybe a teacher that you didn't like. The best revenge is always to kill them with kindness, because it allows, you're always taking the higher ground in those situations. You're never kind of combating negativity with negativity, which only spirals into more negativity. And by killing people with kindness, a lot of times that even makes people who might be coming at you even more angry. So it allows you to take a pause, realize what's important, and to always combat what people might be challenging you with in the most positive way. So if I were to teach something, it would be that.
Thank you. That was powerful. Next. Piotr?
Piotr's here. Can you hear me?
Yes. Are you ready?
I'm very excited to spin this wheel, which
Okay.
has given me.
Let's see. Okay, this is the same. It's, what's the most sensible thing you've ever heard someone say? Do you want to answer, or do we want me to try again?
I'd love to try again, actually.
Okay,
I really liked Rob's answer, though.
What can you do today that you were not capable of a year ago? Let me repeat again. What can you do today that you were not capable of a year ago?
I would say that today I can somewhat half confidently go up in front of an audience and try to get a rambly point across and make it through the entire presentation, versus where I was a year ago, which was in a place where I would do everything in my power to never even be in that position in the first place. And I owe that to this group of Toastmasters for sure, but more broadly, the rest of the organization that has been putting together this platform for myself and generations before me to take advantage of, to become better communicators and give them the confidence that they need to express themselves in a way that they want to be received. I find that even the people that have trouble expressing themselves, everything still happens on the inside. You still have all the thoughts, all the emotions, just like excellent communicators, and you look over and they are just so eloquently able to express themselves and use the words that I didn't even know exist to capture my feelings and thoughts. And so that is very inspirational. And I just want to say thank you to the organization for putting me in a place that allowed me to develop the skills that enabled me to do this thing today, right now, that I was not able to do 1 year ago. Thank you.
Thank you. Now it's Alex's turn.
It is. How are you?
Good. Let's see the wheel. Okay, I'm gonna try again. The question is, if you had to teach something, what would you teach? Do you want to answer or try again?
Well, maybe try again. We'll see.
Let's try.
I think. Thank you.
Same. What are you most grateful for?
All right. Well, thank you for that. I will answer that. Thank you, first of all, for this wonderful tete-a-tete. It's been great. I'm really, really enjoying it. What am I most grateful for? Well, I'm grateful for many things, so it would be very difficult to find one particular thing for which I am grateful. However, I am grateful for this particular group, this opportunity to speak, to get together, to express myself, to learn from such great speakers as Devika and the others, and to have this incredible tete-a-tete with all of you here. It's a splendid organization, as Piotr says, and it's really great because this is a great group of people. It's not everybody who would be drawn to a place like this. It's not everybody who might flourish. Therefore, it's a splendid opportunity, and I'm very grateful for that. I'm also grateful for hearing Devika's great speech, the alliteration, the PPP. It really resonates, and that's actually a very cool rhetorical trick, alliteration, and also her vocabulary, and also the fact that she reads things like Alistair MacLean. My God, I think he also wrote The Guns of Navarone, one of those ones, but he's a great British European writer of war material. Well, you know, this is sort of my siren song, my swan call. So I'm going to get off the stage and I'm going to hand it back to you, Emilie. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Alex. Is there someone else or?
Emilie, I think that's going to be it for table topics. So great job on that. Give you a hand for a great table topics. And something tells me we're going to see a return of the wheel of questions in the future as well. Love the innovation, love the way you're changing it up, and that's kind of the whole point of Toastmasters. Where we're at is adding your own personalities to the show. So great job once again. And with that, we are also at a point where we're going to do two things. One is vote for your favorite table topics. So Sean, if you wouldn't mind putting that link in the chat. And the winner always gets the illustrious recognition from Kaylee's weekly newsletter. And also, we've added table topics to our speaker feedback form as well. So once you voted for your favorite table topic, would you also then click on the speaker feedback form for Emilie? Sean will put that link in the chat as well. It's the same questions we ask of our speakers as well, to give her something you liked, something you didn't like, and all the other traditional questions as well. So with that said, I'll give you guys some time to fill out both the table topic vote as well as some time for Emilie's speech, and then we'll get into the wrap-up of our show with our grammarian and timer. So let's move on to that portion. We have our grammarian for the evening, Rob. Are you there? Let's get Rob on the screen.
Hi, I'm here.
There you go, Rob. Let's get Rob on. Okay, Rob, give us our grammarian report, please.
All right. Can you see it? Oh, all right. It's up here. Nice. Technology. That's incredible. So I am the grammarian, and this was a fun role because I've never noticed, you occasionally you notice the ums and those filler words, but when you have to really count them, you notice them so much more, and notice when people don't use them. And I was really impressed with a lot of people that can fully avoid using them, especially during the table topics where you're kind of just winging it. So Colleen, I'll just go through it and pick out the ones where there were some use of the filler words. Colleen had 3 ums in her speech. Rajiv didn't have any that I caught.
Great!
Devika also, during her speech, didn't have any filler words, and she used the word of the day.
Great!
Alex, I believe I put it up there, but he also used the word of the day during his evaluation. Rajiv, again, during table topics, had nothing. I crushed it during my table topics and had an abundance of filler words, so I, just was off the charts there. Angelin, I believe, I can't see, it's a little small, had 1 so. Devika had a few more ums in her table topics and some you-knows. Linda had 4 ums and also had the word of the day. Colleen, a few ums and 1 so. Peter had 2 ums, and Alex, again, none, and was able to use the word of the day multiple times today. I think there was like 5+, so I think he's a little bit in competition with some of my ums with the word of the day. So that's it for grammarian report. Thanks.
Thank you, Rob, for that. And we'll turn it over to Jorge for our timer report. Jorge, you there? You may be on mute, Jorge.
Hello, everyone.
There we go. Take it away.
Club members, guests. Today or this evening, I have the privilege of being the timer. And my role is simply to keep track of everyone, speakers, table topics, participants, and at the end of the session, like now, give pretty much a report on how we did everyone with time. So I'm gonna start with the speakers and evaluators. Colleen, your suggested time is 4 minutes. You did 3 minutes and 40 seconds, which is awesome. Rajiv, your suggested time is 3 minutes. You did 2 minutes and 45. Again, second speaker, Devika, 4 minutes and 10 seconds, which is great. Second evaluator, Alex evaluating Devika's speech, 2 minutes. Awesome. Again, you had 3 minutes. Going over to the table topics, Rajiv, suggested time is 2 minutes. You did 2 minutes and 20 seconds. Again, not too bad. Rob, right on the dot, 2 minutes. Bingo! And I really appreciate your answer about, doing something that you're not comfortable doing, like rebelling in a way a little bit. Moving on, Angelin, 1 minute and 30 seconds. Devika, 2 minutes and and 30 seconds. I think I can understand that because you did a speech as well, and you it can get addictive. So I can understand that. Linda, 2 minutes and 10, not too bad. Colleen, 2 minutes, right on the dot. Again,
Bingo!
I appreciate your answer about teaching kindness. I think we need a lot of that, especially now with these circumstances. Peter, 1 minute and 45. Great. Alex, 1 minute and 45 as well. And overall, I think we did great with time. And that concludes my report. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Jorge, and thank you, Rob, for the reports. And yeah, so like I said, we are in the practice mode of New Voice Live. And in this mode, it's about explaining why we do the things we do, why the speeches are the speeches. And I remember one of the first things that I did when I came into my first Toastmasters Club is I had the feeling that I really don't need this place. I'm pretty good. I know how to communicate. I know how to express myself, and so I'm just going to come in and, I'll see what they have to offer, and I may not need it, but I'll check it out. It was when I saw the timer and the Grammarian report that I was like, oh, wait a minute. This really is something different. Because as Rob pointed out, this club, Toastmasters, what we're really here to do is to try to point out all the flaws. All the things that when we look in the mirror, we really don't like seeing, but that's why the mirror is there. And so the timer and Grammarian report are exactly those things for us, which is if you're an and like I am, when you get trapped in that and you do 5+ and all of a sudden you're like, oh my God, I don't know how to stop, that's this place pointing out the flaws that we're trying to fix. And so after I realized, oh my God, these guys are really on it, that's when I said, this is the place that, if you're looking to improve, this is the place that's going to allow you to do it. Because it is all about finding those small little errors. It's not the big ones, it's the small ones that separate us from a good to being a great speaker. So back to the practice piece of it. We are now in our 18th live stream. From here on out, it's going to be live stream after live stream after live stream, which means that our goal is perfection. And that is the highest impossible goal that we can strive for. But personally speaking, this does work. The more you do it, the better you get at it. The cleaner it is, the easier it is, the more compelling it is, the more fun it becomes. Because then you're like, give me more. Give me a random question. I don't want a standard question. I want something that throw me for a loop. So that's the place we're all striving for. And I got to tell you, after 18 episodes, we're pretty good. I know we're good when I start losing track of what I need to do on the back end and get caught into what the speaker's saying. And I go, oh my God, I'm focused on the speaker, I forgot. But that's clearly a sign that we're saying compelling things, hearing compelling things. So it is my big thumbs up to you all. For all you speakers, great job. For the table topics, great job. Emilie, I love the innovations. So if anybody else has got ideas like that, let us know. We'll try to incorporate them. But from here on out, we're in for the long haul. This is purely now an exercise in perfection. We are not going to change a lot. There may be some things here or there. But essentially, as I said last week, we're putting on a show. We know what the show set is, and so now it's about making the little tweaks so that the show is perfect. So it's a high bar. But if anybody can do it, I think we can. And as I said, we're pretty close. So with that being said, I want to thank you all for coming. I know that we have one guest here. If, Angelin, you have any interest in joining us at all, please feel free to stay afterwards for after hours. Anybody else that wants to stay along, feel free as well. It is our way of getting feedback as well for us, what's working, what's not working. one other thing that we are going to do, just FYI, that I've got you here, we're, as I said, focused on the support channel. That what we have up here. We're going to try to have everybody do individualized gifts. We're calling them emojis, where you're going to be the emoji that goes on the screen so that you can give the personal feedback. We're in the, call it the beta test of it right now. So if anybody's interested in participating in that, stick around for after hours as well, and we'll show you how we're starting to get some of that stuff incorporated. So we need some guinea pigs on that. All right, with that said, I think I'm going to wrap up the show and then turn it over to after hours for you all. Again, thanks for coming to the show. Stick around for after hours. Get your favorite cocktail. Come back and get a chance to say hello to the rest of us and meet your fellow members. So thanks for coming. Great show one more time. I appreciate it.
Can I? Oh.
Thank you, guys.